Hey guys, so welcome to this video. So last week or the other week, my friends and I were able to volunteer with Protect and Preserve Hawaii. They're a nonprofit organization that basically does conservation work, and they're working to protect Hawaii's native ecosystem. So I feel that not many people know how precious and special Hawaii is with our native flora and fauna. I personally feel like it's really important that we need to know how to take care of our land, malama aina. And I hope that this will help spread word and awareness and how to preserve and make sure we are able to have our land flourish with native plants. Hawaii is considered to be the endangered species capital of the world, and also 90% of our native plants are endemic, which means 90% of our native plants can only be found here in Hawaii, nowhere else in the world. That is really huge. So I'm just going to be sharing a little more on how important Hawaii is, and also I'm going to share my story and how I got into native plants and some tips on how to get into bringing awareness about this topic. Just keep in mind that I am not a professional in this area. I'm just an avid hiker that just grew an interest into learning about native plants. So I started hiking back in 2012, and I really didn't get into plants until maybe 2018, 2019. So from 2012 to 2018, I was really just that person where my goal was to the summit, get nice views, scenic views, take nice pictures, and then just head back to the car. Not really looking around what's on the side, what plants are there. All throughout those years, I've gained some hiking friends who actually do work in this kind of field. And so I was easily influenced to learn how to respect the trails. And I did learn some native plants here and there, but I was just not really into it. I was one of those people where once my friends spot like a native plant, I would kind of just patiently wait while they geek out and take pictures and try to ID it. There is this one state trail. It's part of the Na'alahele system. It does require a permit and a four-wheel drive vehicle. When you reach the end of the trail, the views is so stunning. You get views of Punalu and Kahana Valley, and you're from the back of it. Me and my boyfriend, whenever we have family or friends visiting the island, we always take them on that trail. And in order to get the views, you go through this dense Be'ewa Forest Reserve where it's just abundant full of native plants. And you cannot notice how many interesting plants there are before you get to the summit. There's a lot of ohia trees, a lot of naupaka, a lot of na'e, and then also there's some lobeliads. So it's just like a plant galore hike before you reach to the summit of the trail. Over time, I've learned to appreciate it. Because that hike is just full of native plants, it just made me get more familiar with what plants those were. Yeah, the more I take pictures and try to identify native plants, the more I just realize how actually pretty and how each plant is very special, because each plant has its own characteristics, whether you look at the stem, the size of the leaf, the shape of the leaf, the smell, and how the veins are, all kinds of things. Each plant is so different and very unique in its own way. Last year, I did take a lot of videos of me and my friends just trying to identify native plants, so I'll just show you some clips. The one right there with the berries? Yeah. So that is carnival. Carnival. How do you distinguish a carnival, Bernice?
Looks like some kind of vegetable, really.
It's very thick and veiny, right? That's how it's like a dark green.
Doesn't it look like, what do you call that era when it's dinosaur? The dinosaur era.
The prehistoric.
The prehistoric leaves.
Yeah, there you go. That's carnival for you guys.
Wow. So,
Oh yeah. Mary Lou, what is this plant right here? Hawai'i? Yay. Hilo. Hilo. It's kind of like shaggy looking. Like it had a bad hair day. It looks.
anybody know how a vagina looks like?
It said this is the male. Male iya iya. It looks like a vagina hole, so this is the male EA. So Hawaii alone contains 44% of endangered native plant species in the US nation. So that's like almost half. And given that Hawaii is so small, but yet our native plant population is so big, that's crazy. So that's why it's important that we educate and bring awareness to everyone so that we learn how to conserve and respect and make our land flourish with all these native plants that we have. Some of the things that everyone can do to bring awareness about this is supporting conservation groups, whether you go out and volunteer. Not only that, when you volunteer, you do network with a bunch of other conservationists who believe in the same value as you. And the bigger the community, the more help and love that we can, help the land and get better. Sometimes there's guest speakers. So there was a guest speaker when I volunteered the other week, and I didn't know what really meant for a plant to be considered invasive. So that was like an eye-opener to me. Another thing to consider is, of course, leave no trace. Make sure you pack out what you pack in. That way it doesn't damage the ecosystem. Another thing too is to always wash and clean your gear. So my boyfriend and I always have a habit of cleaning our gear whenever we get home from hiking. We usually make sure we scrub and then spray like alcohol to make sure we get rid of any seeds that may be invasive to prevent it from spreading whenever we go on our next hike. I actually find myself sometimes shopping for like the local businesses like Laulima Hawaii or Leiohu Designs, even to Koolau. Is there another one I'm missing? And also the Kakou Collective. It's like Laulima Hawaii, I know some of the profits go to these organizations, so that's another way of donating. So there's only 240 native plant species where there's only 50 of it or less of that plant itself. And that's crazy. Like, we need to help protect and preserve because they're at the verge of becoming extinct. And because they still exist, it's our job to do our kuleana and just malama aina. Well, thank you for watching this video, and I hope you guys were able to learn something. Again, Hawaii is so precious. Let's get out there and help save our native flora and fauna. Until then, I will see you guys in the next video. Aloha.